Hello, and welcome to the organ loft of Bristol Cathedral. And it's my very great pleasure to be able to introduce you to this absolutely wonderful instrument, which has recently undergone a complete restoration by Harrison & Harrison. We're in fact less than 6 months into having it back, and we're absolutely loving it. The history of this organ is an absolutely fascinating one. It originated in 1685 as an instrument by the great English builder Renatus Harris and local organ builders W.G. Vowles of Bristol, a very well-respected Victorian builder, before it took on its final form in 1907 when it was rebuilt again by J.W. Walker. There are stops surviving from all periods in this spectacular instrument. So in the wonderful oak cases that you can see, the two cases side by side, the case pipes are all original Renatus Harris pipes, and they still speak. They comprise the bottom half of the small open diapason and the medium open diapason. So here's a little piece that will give you an idea of some of those sounds using those particular stops. And you can hear those stops have that wonderful singing quality that works particularly well in the wonderful acoustic of this cathedral. Just to give you a little bit of an idea how the great chorus builds up. A lot of this chorus is actually by Vowles. So starting with the smaller diapason, which is the Renatus Harris stop. Adding the medium, which is also partly Harris. And then the large open diapason, which was added by Walkers in 1907, really fills the building with a wonderfully luxurious sound. Put them all together. If one uses the small principle, which is a vowel stop, which goes beautifully with the small open diapason and the medium open diapason, you have a little lightweight great chorus. And adding the Walker large diapason and the large principle, you have this somewhat fatter interpretation of the same sound. And then adding the 12th and the 15th on top of that. To that one can also add this wonderful Vowles mixture. There's originally a 4-rank mixture and the tierce rank was taken out by Walkers, but in every other respect it's a glorious Vowles mixture. We have a new mixture on this organ, which was added by Harrison's in the rebuild, a new 3-rank sharp mixture. This is a really wonderful stop. It's modelled on an exact same mixture at St Mary's Portsea, and it just adds a little bit of extra brilliance, absolutely in the Walker aesthetic, to the top of the chorus. And I'm also going to add the double open diapason as well, the 16-foot, to give you the full sort of plenum sound. So that's the great chorus work. We have wonderful flutes on this organ as well. We have this little stop diapason, which is absolutely beautiful. There's some 18th century pipework remaining in that stop. Walker's also added a wonderful alternative, this big Wald flute, large open flute. Absolutely wonderful for French repertoire particularly. Full of character. There's a wonderful 4-foot flute, which I'm going to add to the stop diapason to make a little chorus. And really beautiful, beautiful sounds. Then, of course, we come to the reeds on the organ. All the reeds on this instrument, with the exception of the Swell Vox Humana, are by Walker, all dating from 1907, and they have that very characteristic construction. With the little covers on the top and the little drilled holes around the outside. Sometimes they're known as pepper pot reeds. There are 3 of these. There's trumpets at 16, 8 and 4. This is the 8-foot trumpet, there's a sort of bright and yet somehow slightly dark sound to these reeds, which is intriguing and such a good blend. With its clarion 4-foot. And then adding in the trumpet as well, the double trumpet, the 16. Put the whole lot together with the flues as well, you get this amazing sound. Moving on to the Swell now. Again, we have a largely vowels-based chorus, wonderful mid-19th century pipework. There's a beautiful little open diapason. And a 4-foot principal on top of that. Relatively unusually, there's a 12th and a 15th as 2 separate stops, and adding those on top. That makes quite a light chorus sound, and Walker's in fact added a horn diapason for extra weight. This is without it, and this is with it. Just gives that little bit of extra support for the upper work. There's a mixture as well. This is, again, a glorious vowel stop. Exactly the same breakdown as the mixture on the great. On the flutes, we have stop diapason. Again, this has some very early work remaining in it. And a 4-foot harmonic flute, which is a Walker stop here. Beautiful blend. And some beautiful reeds as well. Wonderful oboe. And coupled into the chorus, you have this wonderful sort of rich sound with it. We also have 3 Walker reeds of the trumpet type, 16, 8 and 4. There's an 8-foot horn, and it sounds like this. It's 4-foot clarion companion. And 16-foot contraffagotto. And then additionally, we also have a vox humana, which of course is usually used with the tremulant and often with the 8-foot flute as well. Something like this perhaps. We also have 2 sets of strings on the organ. We have these very, very mellow strings on the swell, which are tuned flat. So the Vox Angelica part of that is tuned slightly under the pitch of the Dulciana, and they're very, very sweet, very mild indeed. And they form a wonderful contrast with the strings which are on the solo. So here we have a gamba and a voix celeste. These are much keener, much more in the French style. And unlike the swell strings, they're tuned sharp, which gives a little bit of extra keenness to the sound. Before I come on to the rest of the solo, I'm going to talk a little bit about the choir. So this is a collection of very, very beautiful sounds indeed. So there's a wonderful open diapason. And it has a 4-foot Gems horn equivalent. And there's a 2-foot 15th as well. So we have that diapason chorus. There's also a flute chorus. So again, we have another stop diapason. There's a stop diapason on 3 of the 4 manuals of this instrument. This again has very early pipe work in it. All 3 of the stop diapasons have some 18th century work in them, and it's very mild, very sweet. And a wonderful 4-foot flute to go with that as well. And a 2-foot piccolo as well. There's some wonderful strings. There's a beautiful 8-foot Dulciana, which is very, very soft indeed, very understated. And it has a 16-foot cousin. There's also a viol de gamba, which has a very keen edge to it. We have Nazard and Tierce. Originally, they were under one stop, sesquialter. They were separated in the recent rebuild, which has given extra versatility, and they make a wonderful cornet séparé, which is particularly useful in Baroque music with the tremulant. And here's a little demonstration of that. We also have a clarinet on the choir. This is a new stop which was added in 2025, and it's modelled on the clarinet of St Matthew's, Northampton, which is another very venerable Walker instrument. And it has a very bright and somewhat perky sound. Which forms a nice contrast with the clarinet on the solo, which is a 1907 Walker stop. Moving on to the solo, we have a wonderful collection of beautiful solo colours. So the clarinet you've just heard, there's also wonderful orchestral oboe, something of a Walker speciality, it has to be said. The one at York Minster is also a Walker stop and likewise very characterful. While we're on the reeds, there's a cor anglais. This was originally an 8-foot stop, but was extended down in the 1960s to a 16-foot stop, and very useful it is too. Some fabulous flutes as well. Two very nice flutes, wonderful 8-foot harmonic flute. Again, a wonderful Walker stop. That's actually outside the solo box, so not under expression. There's a 4-foot harmonic flute as well, which is somewhat lighter and obviously inside the box. That leaves the Tromba on the solo, which is, as you'd expect, magnificent commanding voice. It's a little bit of a mystery as to why this stop actually is called a Tromba when it's very much tuba, and in fact the pipes are engraved with the word tuba. So clearly somewhere along the line the communication got lost, but it very definitely is a tuba, very commanding sound. While increasing the accessibility to this wonderful pipe work, we've also been very aware of the beautiful Edwardian aesthetic of it, and we've been able to add some stops in a little drawer underneath. So we have some quite interesting things in this little box of tricks. We have the pedal divide. We also have a manual exchange, so the stops from the grate can also be played on the choir. Let me just quickly demonstrate that. So you press the little button and it lights up. They're modelled on the fronts of the stops. So some stops on the grate, playable on the choir. That would be useful in French repertoire, where obviously the sequence of keyboards on a French instrument of the 19th century is different from an English organ, and that can be extremely handy. There's also a grate to choir coupler. So choir to grate is perfectly standard, grate to choir, a little bit more unusual, but very, very useful. And that leaves the pedal section of the organ, which is quite notable in a number of ways. Firstly, by the sheer weight of tone that's available, and indeed the number of 16-foot flues. I mean, this is not the biggest cathedral organ, but it has 6 16-foot flues, which contributes to a phenomenal weight of sound. And obviously Walkers, when they were thinking about building the instrument, what the building needed with its very generous acoustic, a lot of weight was required. So just going through them in some sort of order. So you have the pedal board on, which is very much as you'd expect, very much on the soft side. And of course its 8-foot partner. And its 4-foot partner. Perhaps perhaps slightly more unusually, there's also a 10 2/3 quint, which gives the effect of a 32, particularly in the bottom octave. We have two open diapasons, one of metal and one of wood. They're both of absolutely enormous scale. This is the wooden diapason. And if anything, I think the metal is even bigger, even more robust. And the metal also has 8 and 4 foot partners. Unusually on this organ, we have other 16-foot stops of a more string tone. So we have the 16-foot violone, which is quite a keen edge sound. And a Dulciana, same as the Dulciana in the choir, same as the 16-foot one, very useful, soft pedal stop. And again, another real Walker speciality, contragamba, 16-foot, very, very narrow pipes indeed, very, very keen, thin sound, very characterful. Lastly, on the flues, we have 32-foot double open diapason. This is, again, of absolutely vast scale. Double open wood might be difficult to hear clearly, but I'm going to play a few notes anyway. Very much a stop that you feel, perhaps, rather than hear specifically. Two wonderful reeds, pedal trombone, very much in the sort of German style, very heavily constructed and a very, very heavy tone. Together with its 8-foot extension. And the double trumpet is derived from the great double trumpet, provides a useful alternative to that very, very large scale stop. And again, put them all together and you have a pedal section of monumental power. And there it is. So I hope you enjoy the sound of this absolutely wonderful instrument. Every stop contributes something of huge, huge value and meaning and musicality. It really is one of the most musical instruments and a huge pleasure to play on a regular basis.